Unlike some other balance boards like rolla-bola or fixed pivot point boards, the brand name Skillboard and Cyboard work by utilizing a sphere as the balance point rather than a board or a cylinder. Although this is a much more advanced style of board, a lot of the same tips for cylindrical balance boards apply to spherical balance boards. Check out my video I made on this topic in the top right. But to summarize, here are 4 tips to keep in mind when learning how to ride a spherical balance board. These boards are inherently risky, and you have a decent chance of hurting yourself if you're learning to use one, so take that into consideration. Traditional rolla-bola cylindrical balance boards only really put you at risk for falling from side to side. Because of this, the boards are often made with a stopper or a bumper to prevent the board from flying off from under your feet. But with cylindrical, skill boards, and cyboards, you can fall off at any point, so having a stopper built in is more difficult for the manufacturer. I believe cyboards add a railing to their product, but skill boards do not. So make sure you have enough space so the board doesn't go flying off into the wall or something. To start, make sure 25% of the board is over the ball. This is because if it's more towards the end, you're going to need a lot more effort to get going, and putting too much effort into one side of the board can lead to overcompensating and falling off, especially when you're learning. Likewise, having half the board over the ball can lead the board to drastically sway in the direction it's tilted, which makes for an aggressive start. I find 25% is a good happy medium. Unlike cylindrical balance boards, spherical boards also tilt front and back when you're starting. If this is an issue, align where the ball meets the board with the center line of the board. Make sure your feet are also on the center line when starting. This way, you're not unintentionally distributing more weight towards the front or the back and rolling to one side. Once you're on, it's hard to move or reposition your feet, so practice starting with your feet exactly where you want them to be. A lot of people that advocate using balance boards will tell you need core and leg strength to balance. This is not true. To use a balance board, you need skill, specific coordination, and develop motor pathways to remain balanced. Balance boards aren't a test of leg strength, and they're not a test of stability. They're a test of your ability to move your base of support, in this case the sphere, to where it will catch you when you're falling. A good analogy for this is balancing a stick on your finger. To prevent the stick from falling, you move your finger, your base of support, to where the stick is tilting to. It doesn't matter how strong or stable you are when balancing the stick. If you didn't move your finger to catch a stick, it's not balanced and it's going to fall. The same principle applies on a skill board. You need to be moving to allow your sphere to catch you when you're tilting. Moral of the story is, don't be afraid to move. You might feel like when you're on the board, it's impossible to come off since any effort to step off seems really dangerous, and it is. A good general rule is to keep your feet on the board until one end of the board touches the ground. This way, you have a relatively more supported base and the board won't fly out from under you. I know it's tempting to get off the board the second you find that you're going down, but try to go down with the ship until the board touches, and then you can take your foot off. Getting off the board is just as tricky as starting, so don't underestimate it. You can also jump off, but I wouldn't recommend it. So there it is, 4 tips on how to ride a skill board. Please let me know in the comments if this was helpful or if you have any concerns. And also consider subscribing if you want more long drawn out explanations on how to do random things. Thank you for watching and good luck.